so excited to be here with you today. I'm Jana Matthews.
I'm Melinda Romero.
And we're here with So Silly by Sharon.
Yes. You know, So Silly by Sharon, they're in the St. Charles area, outside of, or, within the St. Louis area. I have heard so many great things about this shop. It's a little gem in the neighborhood there, a gem in the city. And just tell us, Sharon, how exciting has it been having, Grace products in your shop and learning with us and your community involvement? I've heard so much, it's like, I don't even know where to start.
Well, I'm having a little bit of audio difficulty, so bear with me. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had the Grace products in my store for just about a year now. And my customers are super excited about it. We do things a little bit differently around here. It's not your typical quilt store. As you know, we've discussed before, Melinda. We take beginner sewers, someone who's never, ever used a sewing machine before, and get them to the point where that they're using the Grace long arm and getting super excited about it. I don't know about you, my first quilt was nothing to brag about, but these students, they're great because they have something, that to really show on their first attempt. And it really just lights a fire with quilting with them. So
It's awesome. It's awesome. I know you've told me about some of your community outreach that you do there locally with children, senior centers, even with guilds within the local area. It all sounds amazing. We've talked about it before. I am hoping to have an opportunity to come out, visit the shop. At some point, maybe do a live event in person, details to come, things, could be in the works, but I just think it's amazing what you've accomplished, within about that year. I see, your sales come through and it's like, you know what, she's doing it. She's spreading the message about the Grace products, being user-friendly, budget conscious, and kind of starting with your customer base from the ground up, teaching them the skills and techniques to make them better sewers and quilters. Yeah. I love it.
I'm really excited today because we're gonna do some giveaways. We're gonna show, I love that, Sharon, you have the little Rebel behind you there in the studio with that fun quilt. We're gonna talk about the little Rebel on the Cutie freeze frame. Yeah, and then we have it behind us. We're gonna show some sewing techniques as well. And we're giving away today a light bar. I wanna pop this up here, this image. And so I'm gonna be coming back and forth over here. I'm running comments and we're running images. So you're gonna see me kind of half disappear a little bit, but this is the 10-foot luminous light bar. We're doing this as a giveaway today. Now this is anybody that pre-registered for the event. So if you went onto the platform, the link that Sharon sent out, and pre-registered for the event, you got into the drawing for the luminous light bar. This is going to be a 10-foot, but you can also put it in a 5-foot or an 8-foot as well, and you can even expand it out a little bit and do it as a 11-foot. So I mean, you can get a 2-foot extension if you have a larger frame, but we just want to, we're going to be doing that giveaway. The other giveaway we're going to be doing is the Quilters combo. And Melinda, we were just talking about this. I know this is one of your favorite combos.
It is. So as a sewer and a quilter, the thing I know I personally despise the most is cutting. Using your traditional, straight handled rotary tools, I would get so many pains in my hand, in my wrist. I would carry that into my upper arm and shoulders and neck. It was just awful. I started with Grace Company about 3 years ago, and I would see how everybody else was using the comfort cutter, how they were holding it, and I was like, you know what, it's a gimmick. You know, they're drinking the Kool-Aid at work, because it can be that simple. Because I was on that path where I hated cutting, I despised it. I only had the one kind of straight-handled rotary tool, like so many people out there, and I couldn't fathom. My mind was just in this bubble around my straight cutter that it took a while for me to even try the comfort cutter. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember a show, and we're headed out, and we were going to be doing demonstrations, and I told Melinda at the very beginning, I said, okay, this is how you hold it, and she's like, I know how to cut. I can do it. And I said, okay, Melinda knows. So we get about an hour into this demonstration at the show, and she comes over and she's like, okay, wait, how do you hold this? Because my thumb is starting to hurt, my hand. And so that it alleviates all those issues of pain. I'm going to pop that image up again one more time.
Yes.
And this is, I want you to see, it comes not only with that comfort cutter, but the 6.5 by 24.5 inch ruler. So you have those nice long cuts. I'm a whale tail person. I do too much of a tail. And Melinda, we were talking, and she's like, she's a ruler cutter. And so both of these will get eliminated because it has that wonderful track system. It's exclusive to True Cut. It's that easier, safer, more accurate way to cut. And then we also put True Grips in there as well in this combo. So you can put them on the back of your ruler.
So back to your question though, Jana.
Yeah.
You know, this being, you know, why is this your favorite? It's my favorite combo because you get all the tools necessary to be successful with the True Cut cutting system. So again, you were saying, we start with the True Grips on the back of our rulers. If you don't have True Grips on your rulers, you know, that ruler is willy-nilly kind of sliding all over the place. Put the True Grips on, and that ruler, you know, it's staying pretty much where you set it down. The ruler has that raised edge, and then the cutter, of course, has the guide. So they marry onto each other, track and guide system. When you cut, you're only going
So like
straight.
I go this way and Melinda goes this way, but with the track and guide, we go straight.
Yes, I've had close calls with my fingers. Sharon, I'm sure as a sewer and quilter,
I have all of them though.
but we've all heard those horror stories of when people have done a number on their hands.
So another thing that I want to talk about giveaways. Sharon is doing a giveaway actually in her store. I'm going to pop this information up. She is doing, if you come into her shop, she's doing a drawing for a 360 circle cutter and 2 blades. The drawing's going to be October 9th. They're going to announce that on Facebook and everything. But we want to make sure that you go in and take advantage of this with Sharon because that 360 circle cutter, you can do so many amazing things. Besides the fact that you're cutting circles, but you can utilize it some other ways. It goes from 2.5 inches all the way to 12 inches, 2 inches to 12.5, shifting the other way. It can cut so many different layers. It's fantastic. I love that you're doing this giveaway. Is October 9th a special day for you guys, Sharon, or just a day that you gave everybody to come in and sign up?
That's just a day that I gave everybody to come in. And in the meantime, I'm going to make sure that they sit down and at least try this little Rebel because I got it set up for you to do a demo on the little Rebel just to see what it's all about if you're curious at all.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the little Rebel today a lot, but I want to also, should we do one of the giveaways right now?
Ooh.
And then we can save the other one for the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So which one are we going to do right now? Luminous or the Quilter's Combo?
Which one do you want to do, Sharon?
Yeah.
Light bar or that
Do the
quilter's combo?
Quilter's Combo first.
Okay.
Yeah, Quilter's Combo.
Okay, so again, to register for to be part of the giveaway, you registered for the event ahead of time, your pre-registration, and we took a random generator and pulled that name out just before this event, so we got everybody up to the minute. So drum roll, please, for my first person. Florence, congratulations.
Yes.
We have
Congratulations,
your email address. Yeah, we're gonna send you information. It's gonna come from Allegra@graceframe.com. She's gonna ask you for your address and how we can get it to you best. So congratulations, Florence. Now, for everybody who didn't win, you can still purchase those through Sharon and get those all set. So you're set on there.
Yes, yes. Now, Sharon, you've done something super, super, super exciting recently. I know it's been kind of a work in progress, but you've done so much work with your website. So many Grace products are on the website, and I think there's probably still some more kind of being plugged and added in, but the majority of our products you can either call, the phone number's at the bottom of the screen, you can go directly to the shop, to the website.
Which the address is down there as well. So,
yes, so
we're gonna leave this up the
everything-
whole time so that you can write down the information, but don't wait till the end and think, I'll write down the information now, and then you miss it. Get all that information filled out so that you can call, visit the website, or go in person to see Sharon.
Yes. So many products, in person, website, great job. So, I wanted to make sure to comment and give you that thumbs up, that kudos, because I know website management, it's not for everybody. It's not for me. So congratulations.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and getting everything else in there is a challenge too. So, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, go see. Now, we're going to do some special discounts that are going to be happening. We're going to announce those at the end. Those will be with Sharon. But again, they're all discounts that you can use on her website. So there'll be codes on there. So again, get your papers and pens ready when we talk about those codes. You can write them down so that you can be part of this. But for right now, we're going to say goodbye to Sharon. Bye, Sharon. We're going to talk about the little rebels. And so we're going to bring her back on later to give her opinions and what she's thinking about all these pieces as well. So as we were talking about the Little Rebel. So
yes.
Little Rebel's been out about a year now. It's a domestic
It was a
industrial.
long time coming. So to be at that 1 year mark, it's like, has it really been a year? It's gone by so fast.
And
we heard so many wonderful stories, of customers that they pre-ordered the Little Rebel, they waited, finally got it, and they absolutely love it. So I'm super excited, that 1 year anniversary. It was a reminder.
So we've got it both ways here. We have it right behind me is just on the table, and we want to show you some things about it specifically. So it has this table that comes with this 18 by 24 inch table. You can see the lines right here. These are directly linked to what's on your needle plate. So if you've got your 1/4 inch, your 5/8, your inch, whatever line you have up here on the needle plate is also going to be down here so that you're not trying to, you slightly cover up that needle plate and then you're like, oh, where am I? Am I lined up that way? The fabric goes all the way on there. This particular machine also has this great up section of the table so that you can reach in here to the bobbin case and change out that bobbin. It's an M-class bobbin. I'm gonna pull this one off so you can see how big it is. We've got one back here. So I'm just gonna hold that out. Look how giant that is. That's a big M-class bobbin. It's bigger than what you get in your other domestic machines. It's almost 50% more.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it has a bobbin winder on the back. So whether you're doing your domestic machine bobbins or you're winding the Little Rebel ones, it's just back here and it has that ability to wind those bobbins. It's a separate motor than the front one. So you don't have to unwind your whole needle thing and bring it down here. You're just winding it for this section right down there.
Yes. One thing, two things I appreciate about this machine. One, it's not a top-loading bobbin.
It's true.
Those they're overrated. Top-loading bobbin.
You have to get them down underneath there. Yeah.
Yes, they can be hard to get to. Kind of hard to figure out. Or see, is it in right? What's going on with it. The second thing I absolutely love is, and we didn't see it when you flipped up that table. I'm gonna come around to the back.
She's gonna
though.
come around and turn it. Are you gonna turn it so we can see it?
I am.
Okay.
So raising up that table, I'm turning the machine. So can you point for us? Do you see that light? in the
Yes,
bobbin.
right down in there so you can see everything as you're pulling. So I'm going to pull it out so you can see that just a little bit better. Oh, didn't come out with my bobbin. There we go.
Yes.
So you can see that just a little bit better, that there's all that. One, you've got this great space of that bobbin winder up at the top, but then you also have that ability on the other one. So
Yes, yes. So I love the bobbin light. Makes it easy, if you're sitting at the table, so many people I feel are used to that top loading bobbin and that struggle getting
and you saw how
to-
easy it was just for me to grab it.
Yeah.
And so here I'm just going to put it back in, and you can hear hopefully that click. That's you've pushed it in all the way. You know that it's set, and you're not going to have any issues with it hitting the needle. Because a lot of times people will put it in and not wait for that click. Well, then it's not lined up for your needle to go down, and then your needle will jam it, and then your bobbin case is jammed, and your needle's jammed, and you got to retime it. So yeah, always make sure you're pushing in that bobbin case all the way.
Yes, and that, again, going back to the light, I'm always the first person to say, and even, going back to the luminous light bar, there's no such thing as too much light.
It's true.
Having that little light in the bobbin area, when you kind of turn down to pull out that bobbin, you wouldn't think it would make that much of a difference, but it does make it so much easier.
Well, when we're talking about light, as you we'll move this back around here. Your hand reminded me, so just right underneath here, we have this throat lights area. So again, a lot of light, whether you've got the luminous or you've got other lights going on, just that extra section right underneath here just really gives it that option to have the better seeing ability and color matching and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, and color matching, it's so important. And I know early on in my sewing, I had a lot of struggles, because I would pick out a fabric and then I would pick out a thread, and I'm using the bright fluorescent store lights. Get outside, get home, and I pull everything out of my bag, and I'm like, wait a minute, and what happened? These don't match, so we can't do anything about the store lights or anything, but when we're home, when we're in our quilting rooms, when we're sewing and quilting, whether it's the light on the machine, whether it's that luminous light bar, great, perfect light to help us see as best as we should be when we're working on these projects.
The other thing that you had on there that I want to show, because you saw how easy it was for Melinda to move. This machine is only 26 pounds. It has a handle right there, so it's really easy to lift up, move on and off. We're going to show it on the Cutie, so you can use it on the Cutie Breeze or another frame that we have, or you can use it as your tabletop domestic machine. And so that gives you the option of moving it around, that you're not going to, I know my current domestic machine is 40 pounds, and I come here and I'm thinking, oh, the little Rebel's so much bigger, and I lift it, and I was like, oh, this is so much lighter, and it's easier to get to where I'm wanting to do.
It is, and even with our unique machines, and I don't know if it's Mark or Jarek, somebody who's taller than me always sets the frames up so high, and then I'm sitting there, trying to lift a machine off or on, and it's like, you know what? If this was just a little bit lower, it would be better. But there's that difference in the weight, and it's not a heavy machine, 26 pounds, maybe a little heavy, but it's not terrible.
It's not awful,
for. Having that 13-inch throat, the 8-inch harp height, not terrible at all.
So the other features I want to show here on the machine, one is the pad printing for your threading. So it has all these little sections on here that show exactly what you're needing to do, where the thread goes next, so there's no guesswork. Now, sure, you have the instructions, and you can pull those out each time, but having this pad printing on here just eliminates some of the guesswork of, and maybe you've done it once or 3 times, and you're like, wait, what was the order again? So it's all pad printed on there, exactly what you need to do.
And I brought it up earlier today on with another event, and I see it all the time. whether it's social media posts, whether it's talking to people on the phone, whether we're at shows, people will have problems with their machine. It doesn't matter what machine, ours, somebody else's, whose ever, people will have problems. And the number one, I'm my unofficial, I don't want to say diagnosis, but my unofficial, the reason why is because people, excuse me, thread their machines wrong. That stems, from the additional problems that they have. So having that pad printing on the machine, showing how to, where to, in threading the machine, makes it so it should pretty much be foolproof that customers are going to thread their machines correctly.
It's true. Now, one of the things with the Little Rebel that people might be aware of is when you lift the feed dogs, here in the back, there's a lever that lifts your feed dogs. This tension guide right here, the discs come apart. So you're not going to be able to do correct tension if you've got that feed dog or your foot up. So you want to make sure that they're down. That way when you're threading your machine, you're not going to have those, because you'll think, oh, I've got it in those discs, it's sticking right in between them, but then you put the feed dog down and suddenly you're like, oh, now my tension is off and it's not all the way in those discs. So you want to make sure they get all the way through, right? You're flossing them. You floss all the way down to your gums, floss all the way in those discs, and then make sure your feed dogs are down for that
Yes.
threading.
Yes. For the presser.
For the, when you're threading it out.
Yep. So, fantastic features. I love it. Now, let's talk about this area. It's huge.
It is huge.
For a sewing machine. It's just a wonderful area. I know, I've been sewing, took home ec class way back when. I got my first sewing machine. I've told you this story, countless times. I was probably like 11, 12 when I got my first sewing machine. So it's not, sewing has never been new to me when I came to Grace. Quilting, was a totally different story. But there's any machine that I've had has only seemed to have maybe
Half that,
this much space. And it was, that high that I could work in. And it's like, I'm fine working with that space, but it's kind of one of those things you don't know what you don't know. So when you all of a sudden have 13 inches of throat space and
it's
an
like
8-inch heart
world.
height, it is just like, Ariel from The Little Mermaid, a whole new world, so it's amazing. I can't talk about it enough.
I love right, it gives you that option for all that push quilting, which you're going to get available. But it also gives you ability to put it on several different frames. So besides the Cutie Breeze, you can also put it on the Q-Zone Hoop. It will fit on the Evolution Hoop, the Q-Zone Queen. Now it'll fit on the Evolution Elite, however, it can get a little bit small at that point just for the size of the Elite rolls that will happen with the king size. But that's just such a great option that you cannot have it only for just one machine and frame. The other thing I want to talk about is the lights that are up here. We have a couple of different buttons with the lights on there. These first 5 lights, here we'll go up to the top there, you can see this is all stitch lengths, right? So you start with your large stitch length, go all the way to the small stitch length, and even though there's 5 light areas, it's actually 10 sections. So as I'm going down, you can see those disappear, and I'm getting into that larger section. Same thing with my speed. I've got 3 lights, but 6 different speed controls. That's the fastest, and we come all the way down to the slowest. The other thing I love about the Little Rebel is the fact that you can be able to have, like Sharon was saying, learning people who are the first time, you can set the speed lower, and then when they have the foot pedal and they press it all the way down, they can't go anywhere. It's just that speed stays really slow. And so that's a nice steady way to have someone who's training right, like they're getting used to that foot pedal.
Yes.
But even if they don't have the foot pedal, we also have a start and stop button down here, and that allows you to not use the foot pedal. And I use this more for quilting than sewing to start and stop. Then I'm able to quickly start and move it around rather than trying to get my feet and my hands together so that I'm pressing and moving around at the same time, and I'm trying to be super uncoordinated, whereas I can just push that start button, quilt, move it around, and then stop it again. So that's a lot helpful.
And it's funny because I tell people, at shows, on the phone, it's like, I can drive a stick shift. If you want me to press my foot pedal and, move my hands at the same time and get, somewhat consistent stitching, it's probably not going to happen.
Right, so let's talk about that as well. So
Yes.
we've got our optical encoder. It's right here at the front. Now when you're quilting, I'm going to use this fabric as an example. As we're starting to push quilts, if I have this fabric flat down here, it's going to be able to read as I move it around through it. If I lift it up at all, it's not going to be able to read that, and so then the encoder is not going to be able to read the fabric, and you'll have a longer stitch,
Right.
or tinier stitch depending on how you're moving the fabric.
So think about it like your computer mouse. So you pick up your mouse and you have that little red light underneath. When you're on your mouse pad or a good
table
kind
or
of
something like that,
surface that the mouse actually likes, you can move that mouse around and you can see it move all over your computer screen. Lift that mouse up, or I've been known to play practical jokes and put tape on the bottom of people's mice, and if there's any sort of restriction, you're not, you can move that mouse all you want, but you're not going to see the mouse move on your screen. So it's kind of that same technology in that optical encoder. So again, you just want to make sure if you're quilting, push quilting or frame quilting, make sure your fabric is flush over that sensor.
Now, so that makes a difference with some of the fabric that you're using. I know that people have used the color doesn't matter, but the type of fabric will. So minky for sure, the encoder doesn't read there, but what we recommend is just turn your quilt upside down. Quilt from the top, so the minky's on top and then your quilt stuff is on the bottom, so it can read that a little bit better. I have heard some people had issues with flannel. We've not had any problems with that, but just make sure that it has good contact to that encoder and you won't run into any problems.
Yes.
Now, when it's facing this direction, we have the presser foot and it's coming this way. If we're going to switch out to our hopping foot, the hopping foot faces the front of the machine, which is what we have over here on the Cutie. And I'm going to let Melinda come all the way back around so we can see a little bit better.
I'm back.
You can see this. So we have this set up so that you can see the difference between what does it look like. I'm going to pull this all the way forward, right? We have all this throat space, and then you're able to quilt back and forth all over the place so that you're easily going through each of those. Yeah, so now the Cutie comes with a little push button start thing. We didn't put it on here on purpose so that you can just see, you can just select this button right here. So you can either use your thumb attached to the handles, or you can press it down here. So we're gonna just start sewing. I'm gonna let Melinda pull up the bobbin thread here.
All right, so we'll go ahead and do our needle up, needle down.
And that's just gonna pull the bobbin thread up so you're not having to trim that later from the back, and you can do a tie off and do a couple stitches and get it going. I think our presser foot isn't down.
Oh, no, it is down. So that is one thing. I'm glad I did it. And I feel like I always do it because I'm used to our unique machines. You don't have to worry about a presser foot. Now with the little Rebel, you always want to make sure you have that presser foot down.
And you want to also make sure that the hopping foot, so each of the machines come with a hopping foot tool guide so that you can put it on there. You're going to make sure that it's high enough, but not too high. So one thing we're going to make sure is we're going to bring this, like we were talking about the encoder, we're going to have the carriage or the rails come down so that the encoder can read it correctly. Also, if our hopping foot is down, we're going to bring up our needle and we're going to adjust this hopping foot because you can see how high this is on here. So let me just grab a tool really quick to adjust that.
And I might be able to get that as well. I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay, great.
Yes.
Melinda has stronger hands than I do.
All right.
So the hopping foot guide will come underneath here, so it's going to be flat against the hopping tool, which I don't, let me see if we've got one here. We can show how to do that.
So really the hopping foot height tool. So it's a thin piece of metal. It is kind of a little bit rectangular shaped. It has an indent so you can push the tool up to the needle. You want the needle in the down position, but kind of the equivalent to the height of the height tool is about, what would you say, between maybe 5 and 10 sheets of paper thick. You know, so if you can't find your hopping tool, like we can't find ours right at the moment, get some
Put it
paper.
in a safe place, right? Those craft room gnomes are moving
Yes.
things around, yeah.
Yes.
But so you can see now that height that's coming on here, it's much closer to the quilt. We're not going to have that issue. So if we're quilting again, right, we bring it up, and I'm going to bring up that bobbin. I think that's the other part. We want to make sure we're bringing up our bobbin here. I'm wondering.
Are we out of bobbin?
We might be out of bobbin. Let's double check that. There is not a bobbin. Let me grab a bobbin. So not only were we out, there wasn't one in there.
See those sewing room trolls, gremlins, whatever you want to call them. All right. So while Jana's doing that, again, I just want to remind everybody, the machine itself, again, it does have the built-in bobbin winder, you know, so you have that amazing tool right there at the machine with you if and when, you know, it's time to go ahead and start winding bobbins. Phenomenal. So let's try it one more time.
There we go. We can see that bobbin thread coming up again. I'm going to let you get that
Let
one
me
all set.
start.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So again, simple, we'll press our sew button. Oh, and you know that bobbin came right back out, but
Well, obviously we thought this one was ready to go, and it wasn't. So we're
I
gonna.
apologize.
That's okay. We're gonna show some other sewing on there, but if you want to see this in action, maybe we did this on purpose.
Maybe.
You got to come to see Sharon at her location and see them live and in person. So you can see them with the hopping foot. You can see her switch between them. You can see all that fun testing stuff. So, right, Sharon, you've got it all set up and you've got yours all ready to go,
I've
right?
got it all set up. Yes, I do. And if you want me to show you that, I could show you really quickly. And
let's-
I have
let's
the
have Sharon
tool
show.
you're looking for.
There you go.
See, Sharon's on top of it.
She's prepared.
Okay, so we're going to have Sharon show us a little bit of, she's got that all set up.
Let me. Bear with me just a moment. I want you to be able to see this.
Woohoo.
Whoop. I can't tell if you can see me or not.
We can see you.
You can see the machine?
We can
Yes.
see the machine, but we can't quite see the needle yet.
So go down, point it down just a little bit more.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Let me go ahead and pull the bobbin thread up. Let's just see here. Okay. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Hold on just a
You're doing
second.
fantastic.
Yes.
Actually, I think I have an assistant here who can hold the camera.
Thank you,
Awesome.
assistant.
Oh, there we go. Now, I like this table. I like how huge it is, but on a frame and on, you know, just using the table. There we go.
Fantastic.
You know,
See?
you made that push quilting look so easy. I don't know what it is. My coordination, my
Because you've been a long arm quilter before you were a push quilter, and so it's opposite. It's the same
Yes.
thing as when push quilters go to long arming. It's just that training. It just takes a little bit more to try and get past where you are and stuff like that. But
Yes.
but the Little Rebel, one thing other people have mentioned, they're like, oh, when I'm threading the Little Rebel, there's a hole, not a slide part for the thread, and that's partly because this is an industrial machine and it can go very, very fast. When you run it all the way at top speed, if it was just a slide-in part, that thread would just be thrown and you wouldn't be, you'd have to rethread it constantly. So that's why it's a hole in there, not just a slide part on that loop when you're threading it. So if there's any questions about the Little Rebel, right, you can contact Sharon. Her information is down below. If you want to come see it, her information is down below. If you want to buy it, her information is down below. But let me pop up the specials we've got going on for Sharon
You know,
today.
I want to talk about one more thing though.
Oh, what's the one more thing?
Okay, so we talked about the Little Rebel, but the Cutie
yes,
Breeze.
the Cutie.
The Cutie Breeze. So what if I told you all you need is a solid flat surface that's 4, maybe 52 inches wide, 2 feet deep, and you could quilt, use your domestic machine, use the Little Rebel, use up to the Unique 19 machine. What would you say if I said, well, what if you could have it?
I love the Cutie because it has that small footprint. And I also love that it's a non-dedicated, that when I'm not using it, I can put it on my cutting table, but when I'm not using it, I can hang it up on some bicycle hooks in the garage or in my sewing room, or I can leave it there and just move my domestic off and put it on my other machine. I love that it has that versatility, right? That no matter what I'm quilting, the Cutie can fit king size, runners.
Table runners, wall hangings.
Exactly. So I can get that all set, and it's not going to add that extra bulk in my quilting area like a long arm or a mid-size hoop would as well.
Yes, yes. Now, over the last couple of days, I've had some practice with this list. Jana, you better tell me if I miss anything or not. So right now, when you purchase the Little Rebel from So Silly by Sharon, either in person or on her website or giving her a call, with the purchase of the machine or any of our machines, you get a free accessory package that's valued over $1,000.
It's pretty awesome.
It is awesome. So this is the part, because I'm going to try to name off all those items. All right. There's the Wonderfoot. There's the Gracie Laser. There's the horizontal spool holder. There's the 24 by 36 cutting mat, non-slip pad, 45 millimeter comfort cutter, circle cutter, 2-pack of blades for the 45, 2 blade cartridges for the circle cutter, the 2 packs of bobbins, the 3-piece hopping foot set, the free motion starter kit, and a 16-pack of thread.
And
did I forget anything?
Yeah, if you buy now through tomorrow, they also get some additional pieces when you're buying the machine and frame. So you'll get the additional thread, and you'll get some other things. So, and the quilters combo I think the quilters combo is part of that when you're buying the Cutie with the Little Rebel. But Sharon has special pricing for all the bundles. So whether you're buying the Little Rebel and Cutie together or the Little Rebel and something else, I want to pop up what she's doing. It's amazing.
It is phenomenal, phenomenal.
Additional 10% off all the machines and frames. Now, I told you before, get your papers ready to write down those code. This is bundle, all capital 10. You can use it on her website, which is scrolling right below us right now. Underneath there, that's SoSillyBySharon.com. Any machine and frame that you've been looking at or thinking about or dreaming about, this is a fantastic time to buy. Not only does it have a wonderful pricing that's on the website, but then you also get that additional 10% off that Sharon's doing. Such a great deal. Sharon,
Yes.
I am so excited for that for you. I think that's just the best deal. Great idea.
Yes. So
If you're on the fence, it's time to get off the fence.
It's
It
true.
definitely is.
You know, one thing I bring up often when I'm talking to customers, and Sharon, you may or may not use this as well. So I just want to see in the comments, how many people will piece together their quilt tops, but then send their quilt tops out to be finished? So how many people are sending their quilts out to be finished? Go ahead and put a 1 in the comments.
Yeah.
So we'll give everybody just a moment.
Yeah, so while we're
answer.
doing that, I want to show the other deal that Sharon's doing. So if you already have a machine and frame and you're like, well, that deal's not for me, I can't participate, but you do want to do automation, Sharon's doing also an additional 5% off
What?
of the QCT6. Now this is all levels of QCT6. So that's the basic edge to edge, that's plus, that's pro,
That's the upgrades.
Yeah, so pay, you know, if you have been thinking about QCT, this is a perfect time. It's already 10% off for us, and then Sharon's doing an additional 5% off. So definitely take advantage of it. So that's automation, auto 5. That's a O, not a 0 there in front of the 5. And then her other one, let me put that back up again. These are all machines and frames. So someone asked, does it apply only to the Little Rebel? No, it's for all of them. So if you're doing a machine and frame combo, not if you're ordering just a machine, but it's got to be a machine and frame combo, that additional 10% off, bundle 10. So
Yes.
write that down. Bundle 10 and auto 5, those are the specials that are going on right now. Sharon, those are phenomenal. I mean, like you were saying, if someone's on the fence, get off the
It's
fence.
the time to get off the fence, right?
Yes.
Right.
And this is the perfect time, like you're saying, get off the fence. Quilting giving time is coming up, right? I feel like, yes, there's Father's Day and graduations and different things, but I feel like this is prime gift giving quilt time. And these machines and tools will help you get into that gift giving
Yes.
time so that you're not stressed on Christmas Eve, finishing all those quilts because you're like, I just got to give these tomorrow away.
Or when you're in a rush sending them out and then you're impatiently waiting because your long armor, everybody else is doing the same thing you just did, you know, sending 2, 3, 5, 10 quilt tops to be finished. You know, and sending quilts out is expensive. I don't know kind of what the rates are in your area, Sharon, but here in our area for like a queen size quilt, I kind of priced around, you know, called a few different long armors, and I got prices ranging anywhere from about 200 upwards of about 400, give or take, you know, depending what kind of design, you know, how condensed it is the design, you know, how many stitches, that sort of thing. So sending quilts out can be super expensive. And when you think about it, how many quilts would you have to send out
Or
to,
keep and
in
do
a sense,
to pay for.
you know, to
Yeah.
pay for your own Little Rebel or any of the other unique machines? You know, I know quilting can be intimidating. I was there. I was a sewer before I was a quilter, and I didn't know what I didn't know, and you know, all the different techniques and things to try, you know, but I now have a passion for quilting. I absolutely love it. You know, so being able to do those things on my own, feeling, giving myself that sense of accomplishment, and then to be able to turn around and, like Jana said, you know, we're on the heels of gift giving season, giving those quilts out, giving them away. You know, there's no better feeling.
Yeah,
that.
Diana's put a one in the comments that she's going to be sending them out. So Diane, this is the time for you. Like Sharon said, get off the fence or at least come down. Like even if you're like, well, I'm not ready yet, but I want more information. This is a great time to come down. Sharon will walk you through everything. She'll give you her fantastic expertise, not only on Grace products, but of quilting in general. You have such a wealth of knowledge in Sharon that she's going to be able to give you information that you're not going to get anywhere else. So definitely come down. Like I said, right down here, here's where you go visit Sharon. It's where you see her website, and also you can call and talk with her as well.
Yes, and then by, was it October 9th? make sure you
For
head
that other
down.
drawing,
you,
yeah,
you
let me
know,
pop that up.
try the little rubble, get into that drawing for the circle cutter and the 2 blade packs. That's by October. The drawing will be October 9th. So, you know, get in, get out of your comfort zone, try new things, and who knows? You might make some new friends. You might hear of, you know, some fun new kind of events or classes, or
Yeah, go down and
you
take a
might,
class.
I've heard there's a fantastic fabric shop right next door to your store. You know,
There
so
is.
you know, make it an afternoon. You know, try the machine, pick out some new fabric, take everything home and start on your project. So,
One thing that if I can add, I do want to say that if you're on the fence and it is the gift giving season and you're worried about stretching those dollars out, I do have some financing options too. So you can go on my website, you can apply for financing, give me a call, and we can work out a plan that's right for you.
I love
Yes.
that. That's so perfect. I mean, and you never know what things that you're looking for would already be in the shop. So don't just think, oh, I can just go online and that's it. And because I don't want Sharon to talk me into it. It's low
I'll
key,
try to.
right? She's not going to just talk you into it. She's only going to help you see the
She's
path
gonna
that you're going to go.
educate you.
Exactly, educate you. So we have one more giveaway.
giveaway.
And so we want to make sure that we've answered any questions or anything. A reminder, any of the things we're giving away, we will contact you to get your information. If you don't get a chance to win, call Sharon and say, hey, I didn't win that light bar, but it looked fantastic and I want to try it out. You know, talk to her about it, the little rubble on the frame, on the machine, everything like that. But okay, let me pop up what we're going to give away now is the 10-foot luminous light bar.
Yes, no such thing as too much light. You can set it up at 5 feet, 10 feet. You can stretch it out just a little bit further, you know, from that 5 to 10 feet, you know, to go a little bit bigger over your spaces. The light bar is height adjustable. Yeah, just phenomenal, great light. So
Okay.
who's our winner?
Okay, drum roll, let's do a drum roll.
All right, Sharon K. Schaefer. Congratulations, Sharon.
Yeah.
Super excited for you.
We're gonna have Allegra reach out for your address and how we can get that to you. So again, congratulations. If you didn't win, if you're not Sharon, please contact Sharon at So Silly and she'll be able to get that for you and get that ordered. But we had such a great time. And Sharon, thank you so much for allowing us to be with you and have this fun digital event. Is there anything else you want to say to everybody before we sign off?
No, just welcome in. Go check out the website. And if there's any questions that I can answer for you, don't hesitate to give me a call, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to help.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and again, Sharon has a wealth of knowledge, so you are going to be in such great hands when you come into the shop and talk to her about quilting and sewing and everything, and definitely sign up for a class. But thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.